Okay, so after your financial plan is built and you're comfortable with it and you think, all right, well, here we go, we can retire. Now you got to figure out what you want to be and who you want to be, because that's really important in retirement. For years before you retire, were you the go-to person? Were you the voice of reason? Were you the skeptic? Were you the person who looked at all the different angles, to make sure the decisions were done properly and right? You were that person, and that person isn't necessarily who you want to be in retirement. I know personally myself, I was the go-to person, and I made dozens of decisions every single day that were pretty critical or could be pretty critical. And that kind of forged me into a person who put up walls. And so I had to be kind of a person that I didn't really like, to be honest with you. So in retirement, I'm trying to right those wrongs. I'm trying to make myself the person that I want to be and redefine myself. So another thing you need to figure out, what you want to do in retirement. So personally, I love to golf, I love to fish, love traveling. I think most everybody in retirement wants to do some traveling. So you got to figure out what it is you want to do. But you also have to figure out that unless you live in, parts of California or parts of Florida, it's pretty tough to have, one thing that you can do 12 months a year that has to do with outdoors and traveling. So you have to have some outdoor things, which for me are golfing and fishing, and you have to have some indoor activities. Now, I'm not a big indoor activity person. I'm not a big reader, but that's one of the reasons I have this YouTube channel, is it really helps me, gives me something to do in those winter months that I can really hone in on and really have fun doing it, because I really enjoy videography. And as we all know, during the winter time is not the greatest time to travel. So you got to have something to do indoors in my part of the country anyway. Now, like I say, if you lived in California, you might be able to golf 12 months a year. But unfortunately, we don't. Here in the panhandle of Texas, the weather can get pretty unpredictable and pretty rough. So hey, I'd like to pause the video for a minute and ask you to reach down and give me a comment. Let me know where you're from. I think it's really cool to see where these videos are reaching out to. So thanks. Let's get back to the video. So another thing to think about is how much of your daily routine do you want to keep? A lot of people in retirement, they like to still wake up early. They want to get up pretty early. They want to, drink their coffee, watch their morning news, and, get their day started relatively early. That's not me. I'm the guy, I went from waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning to waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning, or 8:30. I shouldn't lie, it's more like 8:30. So I'm getting a lot more sleep in retirement than I used to. But I'm going to bed at about the same time. I'm going to bed at about 10:30. So basically I'm just getting more sleep, but you gotta think about what you want your routine to look like. It is pretty easy to flip your days and nights if you're not careful when you go into retirement, because you stay up all night, watching YouTube videos and things like that. And then you sleep all day. So you don't want to get to the point where you flipped your days and nights, but how much of your daily routine do you want to keep? And now you can think about all the things that you can do in the middle of the week that you used to have to try to cram into the weekends. I'll tell you, it's really nice to be able to go get a haircut. Not having to fight the people during the weekend. I can go in and get a haircut on Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday morning, something like that. When I go shopping now, I don't have to worry about all the people there. I go shopping, there's very few people in the stores, and it's just a much more enjoyable thing for me now to go to the store and pick up a few things for my wife when she needs it. And what's really, really nice for me now is if I want to go fishing, I don't have to fight for a spot. I don't have to get up first thing in the morning to get that spot I want. If I want to go golfing, I got a golfing membership. I don't even have to worry about tee times because we don't take tee times during the middle of the week. I don't even golf on the weekends anymore because I don't want to have to fight the people. So I golf during the middle of the week with some buddies of mine that I met at the club. And, you know, we figure we're going to be there at 10 o'clock. And there's a whole bunch of us old retired guys who golf just, you go down there when the weather's nice and you know, there's normally about 15 or 20 of us on the course. And it's just really enjoyable to do those things without having to fight the crowds. So, you know, traveling is something that we all talk about in retirement. And we need to think about that a little bit. What type of traveler do you want to be? You know, are you a traveler? Are you a sightseer? Are you someone who wants to stay maybe 1 or 2 days in one spot, see a few things, and then move on? You know, are you an explorer? Now, my wife and I are more of the explorer types. We like to kind of land in a spot, maybe spend a week there, and we will go to all the different tourist attractions and all the different things like that, you know, or do some fishing and fish a few spots, or go golfing, you know, golf 2 or 3 different courses, or all the above. We like to explore, you know, a particular place that we go to pretty much in detail. So we're more of the explorers. Or are you the vacationer? Are you the one that you want to book a week at a resort? You know, you want to drink pina coladas, you want to get massages, and you just want to relax. You know, it's all about the experience for you and being in a place where you can be catered to and just really enjoy yourself. So hey, I hope this video's helped you, and if it has, reach down, hit that like button, and watch this video next.